If I could give one piece of advice to anyone coming into the sport, it would be...
Words of wisdom, then, I would say.
One piece of advice as a youngster, as a carp angler, I'd say.
So I've been fishing quite a long time now, probably coming up to 20 years. And I'd say one thing I would say to anyone getting into fishing now is
If I had to give a piece of advice for young anglers or new anglers getting into the space, my number one piece of advice would be...
The Big One Fishing Show attracts thousands of anglers every year, and some of the top names in the sport come together for one weekend. From the freshest bait in the game, right through to those organisations that help protect our rivers and lakes. If it's fishing related, you'll find it at the Big One. There are talks from some of the finest anglers in the game, but with so much tackle and bait on offer, it can be easy to overlook some of the simple things that got most of us into fishing in the first place.
If I could give one piece of advice to anyone coming into the sport, it would be don't get too caught up in chairs and bivvies and rods and reels and bite alarms and all the equipment that, you know, is associated with fishing. It would simply be, number one, if you go fishing, it doesn't matter where it is, whether it's the canal, a river, a small lake or a giant gravel pit, if the location you choose to fish from, in front of you, there are no fish, it's really, I'm going to say, impossible to catch one. You need to put maximum effort into making sure that every time you go, you don't think about the rig, you don't think about the bait. You do, sorry. Those things are important, but the most important thing is you get there and you think, where are the fish? Where are the fish? Where are the fish? Use your eyes, go for a walk, put the polarized sunglasses on, look into the water, look for physical fish themselves, look for bubbles, look for the water distorting, rocking, look for, in muddy venues, the water a slightly different color, it pluming and kicking up. All of those signals will give you an indicator that there are actually fish present. That's the number one bit of advice I can give someone. And if you get that bit right, which is the hardest bit of all, the second one is just be quiet. Don't make loads of noise. Don't ruin all that hard work of going and finding them by then making loads of noise casting or dropping equipment on the floor or banging pegs in. Try and be ultra quiet. If you can master those two things in your fishing, you're going to be really, really successful.
Hi, if you're new to fishing, the most important thing to learn about carp fishing is to go and catch them. All the YouTube, all the magazines, all the talking to your mates, it's not like being out on the bank. You can't catch them sat at home. So go find yourself a water full of carp, 6 to 16 pounds. If you can catch 8-pounders, you can catch 12-pounders. If you can catch 12s, you can catch 20s. So the most important thing when you're starting fishing, certainly carp fishing, is to catch. You need to catch loads of them. Then you understand how different coloured baits work on certain days, certain rigs to work on certain days. And if you're only catching one carp a month, you won't learn that. So stick yourself on a venue. Places like Alan and I fish, catch loads of carp, and then you'll learn far quicker than somebody who just sits on YouTube all day.
If I had to give a piece of advice for young anglers or new anglers getting into the space, my number one piece of advice would be do not overcomplicate it. You don't need every type of rod, every type of test curve. You don't need the most expensive gear. Get yourself a solid setup that does what it needs to do and go within your means. If you can't afford everything, get the bits that you need, the essentials, a rod, a landing net, a mat, carp care. You don't need your best bivvy. You don't need the best bed chair. Even if it's day sessions only, that is all you need to get out and start enjoying carp fishing. And keeping it simple, you need a bottom bait rig and a pop-up rig. And once you've mastered that, then you can start getting more technical. Do not overcomplicate it. Best of luck out on the bank, guys. Hopefully, see you in the future.
One of the main reasons why I've been fishing for well over 30 years now and I've never got bored is not because I catch loads of fish every single time I go out. I wish that was the case. It's because fishing has made me be at the places where I've seen so much nature, so many sunrises and so many sunsets that actually fishing sometimes becomes part of the reason I'm there and not all of the reason I'm there. So if you're new into fishing, if you're wondering whether fishing is for you, there's so much more to fishing than just fishing. I've never took anyone fishing and they've never loved it.
If I could give you one piece of advice as a youngster, as a carp angler, I'd say just enjoy it. Don't chase fame like us two idiots and just go and have a good time and catch a load of big carp.
And to add to that, it's really easy. Just go as much as you possibly can. Punish your parents, make them take you everywhere.
It's a good point.
So my number one advice for anyone just getting into fishing would be, don't run before you can walk. The more fish you catch, the more you're going to learn. So start off by fishing on prolific waters where you're going to be getting bites. That is the best way to learn. And from there, you can develop your skills and move on to catching bigger fish.
So if I was a youngster now getting into fishing, don't worry about having all the most expensive kit. Just get yourself a half decent set of rods and reels. It's what you've got on the end that matters the most, the last 6 inches. Make sure your hooks are sharp. Bait wise, don't worry about expensive boilies, all this, all that. I used to catch loads of carp on a little pop-up and a mesh bag of pellet. Worry more about being fishing in the right place where the carp are than having the most expensive gear and, you know, looking the part, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is a lot of young people getting into fishing think that you have to catch carp on boilies, but you don't have to catch carp on boilies at all. You can use particles that are cheap. There's a lot of kids can't afford the more expensive boilies and that, so you can use maple peas, which cost peanuts, you know, probably about £2 a kilo. Just soak them overnight and then boil them and use them on 2 of them on the hair, and you'll be catching carp on them, no problem. So you don't have to go for expensive boilies. Just use some of the alternatives, you know. Even luncheon meat you can catch on, you know. No one even bothers with luncheon meat anymore, and it'll still catch carp all day long, you know. So that's what I would suggest.
So I've been fishing quite a long time now, probably coming up to 20 years. And I'd say one thing I would say to anyone getting into fishing now is there are no stupid questions. There could be the smallest little thing you think, how do I tie that? Ask someone, they'll be more grateful that you asked them than struggle to do something you just didn't understand. Whether that's how to tie a simple figure-8 loop knot, how to shot a float, anything simple in someone else's mind that might be difficult to you, everyone started from the same position. No one got to where they are now without doing the fundamental basics. So no silly questions, don't be afraid to ask.
Words of wisdom, then, I would say, just make sure you enjoy your fishing. Just go out there and enjoy it, and remember it's a hobby. I think a lot of people forget that, you know, at the end of the day, this is a hobby for all of us, obviously. I'm obviously privileged that it's part of my job as well, but a lot of people forget that A, it is a hobby, and B, to actually just get out there and enjoy your fishing, the surroundings and everything that's involved with fishing.
A constant theme from some of the top anglers is that you need to enjoy it. You won't make it anywhere in the game if you don't love what you do. It's easy to get caught up in the latest rig and bait and fad, but if you've lost that buzz, go back to square one.
The biggest advice I can give you is just get out as much as possible and just enjoy it. You know, if you want to sort of do YouTube stuff and Instagram stuff, just post loads, but most importantly, just get out, get fishing, and like I said, make the most of it.
So if you're a youngster getting into fishing, the most important thing is just enjoy it. Absolutely love every moment that you go fishing. And if there's one bit of advice that I could give you, always try and find the fish, whether that's roach, perch, whatever. Use your eyes and find them and you'll catch them.
Okay, a lot of people look at young people and wonder why they don't get into fishing, and why doesn't anybody get into fishing, really? It's an area, a sport, a pastime, whatever you want to call it, where you find out a lot about yourself, and I think that's one of the most important things when it comes down to individual effort and the things that you'll do. There's the contact with the wildlife that you'll see, all the owls at night, the bats flying through, and all the activity during the day. And there's also some great people along the way, along the bank. It's those friendships you make that probably last a lifetime, and that is what fishing's all about.
Right, if you are young coming into the fishing world, please remember, enjoy it, look after the area, well, look after the vicinity you're in. Do take notice of the bailiffs and rules, but most of all, don't forget you're there to enjoy it. Look after yourselves.
So there you have it, another big one weekend comes and goes. Whether you're looking over your new rods, reels, baits or hooks, don't forget just to get out and enjoy your time on the bank.